How do you handle the rejection that comes with being a creative? Because it is so vulnerable to put yourself out there. And I know people can relate to it, even just putting out videos on social media or launching an offer. I mean, that's very fucking vulnerable. I'm in it right now. And even though I teach it and I know what the fuck I'm doing, it is still vulnerable when you give a shit and you're pouring an energy and you've invested money and time into it, which is what you do inside of auditions. Yeah. When you are rejected, and let's say you're rejected, you're getting these auditions and you've gotten no after no after no, you resurrect yourself so that you're not beaten down and kind of start losing hope, because then you're going to just sabotage your next audition.
So there's basically, first of all, this is the most common question people have. It's like, how do you handle the rejection? Well, you kind of systemize. You get used to it. That's actually not as busy you would think compared to other things. The lack of safety and when it is worse.
Meaning when there's no auditions.
When it's crickets. Even. Yeah, because then it feels like there's no life vest to hold on to. It just feels like you're floating.
Like no interest. You don't have to pick between your passion and your paycheck. Today's episode is for all of my fellow multi-passionate entrepreneurs, the ones with 1,000 ideas, endless creativity, an overthinking wild mind, and a deep desire to turn it into a thriving business that actually makes money without compromising that creative spirit that you have within you. In fact, you're going to learn in today's episode, and from my guest, who's a professional singer. She is also an incredible singing coach, and my client, Sarah Bishop. She is living proof that you don't have to choose between creativity and profitability. You're actually going to use both. She's built a business that honors her artistic side and her ambition and what she wants to do with the world. And today, she is sharing in this incredible interview how you can do the same by harnessing that creative spirit, that wild mind of yours. And when we do that without really suffocating it, because that's not going to work for any multi-passionate to have you trapped, this is when you have the magic formula where you can truly make millions of dollars. What up, my people, my posse, my fellow crazies? It's your host, Tiffany Carter, and this is the show that is going to help you grow your business, your bank account, that big, beautiful brain of yours, your abundance, your relationships, and everything in between. Well, the day has finally come for my extra crazy brain, multi-passionate creatives, where you are getting an episode completely dedicated to all of the wildness of making a profession and making money with your creative gifts. And this doesn't matter if you are necessarily like an actor or a professional singer, like my guest and client today. It could be that you're someone who does stuff with crafting. You can be a writer. You could be a painter. You can be a fashion designer. You are someone who has that brain type and you identify in that way. And there's lots of shit that comes up that's different than someone who is maybe in more of a quote unquote traditional business model, maybe like myself. And I even had a lot of thoughts too, where I resisted really infusing my creativity into my business, because my business is, right, I'm in the business of helping you make a shit ton of money. And it's like, okay, well, if I show creativity as I'm showing up here in a money robe, right? The old Tiffany would have never done that. The old Tiffany would have never geeked out on the branding and all the visual stuff of my offers, because I thought it was like not serious enough. It's like, who's going to want to buy from me if they see creativity in my mind? And I want you to tell me, Sarah, this is landing for you. Creativity in my mind means like childlike, you're silly. It's the opposite of money. You're someone who like goes off on a journey and like lives in a hut somewhere, or you're someone who has like this noble artistic talent and you're painting down in the subways of New York City, and it's like, and you're broke. I mean, that's like one of the things that a lot of people associate with like, oh, you have a creative business, or you have a business in the arts, or this is what you do. Most people still automatically assume like, oh, you can't make a lot of money. Before we get into this interview, I have to share something wild with you. Between now and the end of 2025, it is projected in the US alone that over $300 million in sales will be made online. And then if you look at it globally and you are targeting people all over the world to buy your offers, it is in the trillions of dollars. My point is there is no way that you can't cash in during the most profitable season of the year, but you have to do two things first. First thing is you have to decide that this is possible for you, this is available for you, and you are committed and you are the type of person that is going to make sure that happens and show up regardless. The second thing is you need to learn the three key income generating skills, not get more information, but implement information, actionable skills that the more you practice it, the better you get at it, the more money you make. And that's exactly what I teach you inside my new program, Selling at Scale. You have 24 hours left before the pre-launch sale is over. You're not going to want to miss that. You can go right into the show notes or go to projectmewithtiffany.com /pre-launch sale. This is the only time this program will ever be taught 100% live with me, period, end of story. So you want to sit on the sidelines and watch other people make sales and cash, and they're doing it at volume versus a little bit here, a little bit there, and then you wish that was you. Don't be that person. Instead, be the type of person who steps up, invests in yourself, and learns a skill that you'll have for the rest of your life. Plus, you also get unlimited lifetime access to this program when you join, which is another level of insanity that you'll see, plus all the bonuses when you get on the page. Go to projectmewithtiffany.com /pre-launch sale. You can swipe up. That link is inside the show notes here on Apple Podcasts, on Spotify, and in the description here on Project Me TV on YouTube. See you inside.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Well, you hit it on the head, Tiffany. It's also like kind of surreal hearing you do the intro because I like hear it so much. It's like hearing you do it live. I was like, oh my God. You've also done a really good job of like doing the same inflection, like pitch wise. Like you
Oh,
have like the same
wait,
pitches
me,
that you
Miss
do.
Monotone? I have
Bro, you
inflection.
ain't who told you were monotone? You
I
are.
get bullied and mimicked weekly from people for being monotone. And I'm like a little, honestly, I'm a little shy about it.
Well, they can get fucked because that is just bullshit. Because it sounds I love your radio voice. I love listening to
Oh,
you.
thank you. That means a
You're
lot coming
welcome.
from you, given that's your expertise. You know what? You
Yeah.
fuckers who send me shit like
Yeah.
that. This is someone who's like an expert in pitch and tone, and she's saying I'm not monotone. Okay.
Fucks given. I want to make it like a McDonald's jingle, like so bad, like ba da da da, zero fucks given.
I
Like it.
would be so happy. This is making my entire day. I love this.
So yeah, any singers out there, I'm sure you. I was just practicing before coming on here, like I was in the shower, like doing like the zero fucks given and from my ass. I think you should really do like a summertime kind of slide around for from my ass. I think is particularly
I'm
delightful.
dying. There's a seasonal version.
Seasonal summertime from my ass. Yeah, literally. But anyway, to answer your original question, the kind of mind fuckery that happens, and by the way, I curse so much, so if the list I know your listeners don't really care, but
Some of them do, and that's okay. They don't have to
yeah.
listen to it.
Right. Okay. Well, anyway, sorry, some listeners because I will curse. But anyway, yeah, it's absolutely as a creative, there's so many stories, and I can represent a large portion of the performing artists in particular because, like Tiffany mentioned, I'm a professional actor and singer, particularly in the musical theater world, so Broadway circuit. So there's a lot of narratives for artists in particular, one of which the most famous being like the starving artist and you know, this get a real job kind of thing that people I think sometimes in an effort to really commit to their dream, they start to develop all these stories around like choosing like, okay, if I'm going to be an artist, then I'm choosing to be poor and happy. Like that's a big distinction that I recognized in my head, which, you know, I've created things to help artists, particularly with this that are coming soon that I won't talk about too much. But that like idea that like, oh, I like I either get to be happy or rich. Like that is like a really big distinction I've noticed for creatives because, a lot of creatives are really intelligent and very capable and very talented at many things. And so their families may be like, "Well, why like you wanted to be a doctor. We ran this business like this whole time. Like you're going to go make art, like what is that, like that's wasn't part of the plan." And so there's like this story that happens early on of choosing their own joy against the wishes of society or the wishes of others, because even if their family's supportive, you this doesn't matter, you're still going to run up against that, like get a real job, be creative, right? To answer your question, I have definitely had to work with you individually quite a lot and really consume a lot of what you had to say in order to start to notice the difference that like the money is energy thing, and that we as creatives have quite a lot of creative energy that when harnessed well and harnessed in a way that absolutely lights us the fuck up, where we're really honoring ourselves and showing up as who we are, we're really owning our gift, that actually that creative energy can turn into money.
Well,
So
in
we're gonna
fact, it will. But you
yeah.
said the key thing there. It has to be harnessed and focused because you guys are, even if like you didn't have ADHD, the natural creative mind is someone who has ADHD. So if you have ADHD on top of it, you guys have so many ideas, and the reason why all the brilliance comes out is like it is like a hyperspeed ping pong match in that brain in order for that to come out. But when it's not focused, I think that's where the frustration comes in. And then it can create the reinforced belief of, see, I can't use my creative gifts to make money. It doesn't work.
Mhm.
No, it's not the case. It's not working because no one's taught you how to focus it and harness
Sit and harness it and use like I think the other thing is being creative about how you make money, because I think what happens, especially if we're going to talk about musical theater artists, okay, there's a set number of jobs that people do to make money, and they do those jobs, they call them survival jobs, so they can literally survive. And just think about all of this language in itself is problematic, right? What we're choosing just to survive and we're calling our job that, even if it's the money that's going to invest in you making the creative project that really puts you on the map or really moves you forward or helps you be seen, still the language around surviving, right, isn't helpful, right? But some of these jobs are nannying, waitressing, cater waitering. Sometimes I think more of them should be virtual assistants, like do some more VA work for more flexibility. But I think what people in certain artistic fields don't realize is that yes, you can make money doing specifically your craft. However, when you decide how that's going to happen, I think like too much where it's too focused, like this one woman show that I'm going to put off Broadway is going to be the thing that puts me on the map. But when you lock down too hard onto that portal into your money story, like this is it, I think what happens is people kind of limit their vision of seeing what that will actually bring them. Because when they go, well, this thing has to make money in this way, and not focused on universe, hey, show me, I know this is my next step. Show me how this is going to lead to money. Show me how this is going to lead to opportunity with that surrender. That's where people like get disappointed and they clap down, and they're like, and it's like you said, see, I can't make money doing my scale. Or if they had the other lens of show me how this is going to work out, please, and they follow the creative instinct, someone kind of like the Emma Stone, the La La Land of it all, like someone could come to their show that could lead them somewhere else, or they could get connected with a person that helps them into another creative project, or they realize that they're really good at content creation because a slip from their thing goes viral, and then that goes like they lock down too much on how it's going to work out. And that's the hardest part because we don't have a lot of safety, right? That's why I think creatives are also fucking crazy, because we are really cliff jumping over and over and over again. It kind of just feels like you're falling without a parachute most of the time. Without that safety of guarantee, they look at ways to control outcome that just simply are not putting them in a flow for receiving abundance. and stop their creative flow, which again, the abundance and creative flow were nearly the same, if not very closely related in energetics.
Yeah, because using you as an example, if you kept a mentality of, I'm only successful if I have, a part on Wicked, like I'm only
Girl.
successful if I do that and that's it. And if I don't land that, or even like at the very least, like an off Broadway show,
Yeah,
like if I'm not getting that, then I don't have it, period, of a story. Wow, that's very controlling. You are putting demands on the universe. You are actually stifling your
yeah.
creativity versus saying, yes, I want to manifest this. I want this. But what are some other creative ways that I can utilize my gifts, skills, passions, and talents to bring in coin?
Correct. And I want to tell you how hard I fucked myself with that literal exact verbatim language that you just used. So when I did a really successful, well-known show called Cabaret for a long time as soon as I graduated college. So basically from college right to when I started my career, it was like boom,
So you
I
got like quick success.
I got quote unquote quick success and did the big gig for like almost 2 years. It was like a year and a half. And then I got off. But the thing I realized, Tiffany, that mind fucked me is I realized it wasn't completely in alignment. And I realized that doing that actual job and doing just that wasn't it all everything that I wanted. I realized that authentically, I needed more security. I needed more abundance. I needed more coin to live the way that I wanted to. But I was having a lot of dissonance because there was the voice of, well, I should just be happy getting my dream and I made some money with it, right? I should just be okay with this. And well, how am I going to get this though? Because I know it's something that I need. And so those are clashing. So my brain at 24, however fucking old I was, like, you know what this means then? It means I need to be a lead on Broadway because if I'm a lead on Broadway, that means I'll be able to keep doing what I'm doing. I'll get more money and I'll have more control and say, because a lot of it came down to being respected. I want to be able to come to the table and not be looked at like I'm asking for too much or that demands, quote unquote, that I'm making, which are reasonable, by the way, to be like, I want fair health insurance. I want X amount of time off. I want, and I think as artists, we're taught is like we should just be happy to be there. It's like the passion tax of it all. You should
Yeah.
just be happy that you're doing your art. You don't get to say that you want more money, that you want more security, that you want to have a family, right? Like these are real things, especially for again performing artists, that we make this decision of okay, well, some of us, and this was me too, this happened with the same story, was oh, I either have a family or I get to be on Broadway. Like again, there's a lot of this black and white either or that happens. So for a while, I was in this loop because I was consciously thinking that I needed to sacrifice everything that in the back of my heart I actually wanted to get this other thing to come true. Because in my head, I mind fucked myself saying, well, I have to have it this way for my dreams to come true. And what that did for me to a long time was just I would get really close and it just wouldn't work. And it just wouldn't work over and over again when and really what was happening, the universe had shut the fucking door and there was this other window that was wide the fuck open. And very recently I've been kind of sitting in the grief of the years that I spent kind of pounding for this other way. But this other door, it's the thing that showed me, it reminded me again, oh, I'm a magical fucking bitch when I'm in alignment. Oh, it's not actually that hard for me to have these things come through when they're actually for me.
And when you're
And
not forcing it, like it
yeah,
has to be through this door or
right,
else. And then, like you said, where you had the belief of having to sacrifice it. And this isn't just in the professional realm you're in. This is, I think, so many humans do this, especially women. And it's like, well, if you believe you're going to have to sacrifice something you really want, well, then, yeah, you're not going to get it.
right. Well, and it wouldn't come in. That was the other thing is remember on the tour, I realized that I didn't even want it in that way. Right. So psychologically, I'm going, please have it come this way. I'm deaf to being creative in ways to actually get the real needs met, which are I want to be creative. I need to feel safe. I need to have my needs met, right? I'm deaf to the ability to be creative to fulfill those needs. It's all about, I want this thing because my ego has decided that this is the way it has to be. So that's happening. And it kind of hits a ceiling where, you're on the rock bottom on the floor. And, it was COVID. I'm at my parents' house. I'm completely broke. I'm on unemployment. And, Broadway's shut down indefinitely. And at that point, it was like, okay, I have to sit still here and be with this. And the last 5 years has been like a conscious uncovering and grieving and allowing of this window, so to speak, that I talked about. And that is leaning into teaching and leaning into being creative in a different way, allowing and opening to this other creative outlet that is completely informed by all of these skills and talents and love that I have over here, but actually serves the greater purpose, which is mission, connection, and healing for artists everywhere. Like, actually, this is like, I think you'll like this and your listeners will like this, but it's definitely witchy as fuck. So the last audition that I had before COVID, before the rock bottom, I'm on the floor moment, was for The Notebook on Broadway. And I remember
Oh my God,
just,
you'd be so good in that. Okay, go ahead.
thank you. However, so everybody was like using like Regina Spektor songs. This was written by Michelson. So everybody's like, oh, what's like a side artist that would be similar? Okay, Regina Spektor. So I had like a pretty basic option picked that I like in my heart thought was a really good song. Of course, the girl ahead of me picks the same exact fucking song.
Oh,
I'm like, oh, I
bitch.
like hear her like, you are my sweetest. And I was like, get fucked. Okay, all right. You're like sitting out, you're like ready to go in. You're like, oh my God. And I literally almost had like, that was one of the auditions where I had like a panic attack. Because again, I'm living in this dissonance. My authenticity is going, this really isn't all the way right. You have a bigger purpose of serving. And you're not meeting the mark, right? Like it was like the volcano's about to explode. Like there's a breakthrough about to happen, but I'm on the floor. Okay. I went to the bathroom. This at Pearl Studios in New York City. I'm in the bathroom, I'm literally like, I don't know if I can get through this audition, right? I'm like literally going to have a panic attack. I sometimes I'll be like, hey, God or universe, however your audience subscribes, whatever language. Mine, I say God and spirit guides. And I was like, hey, God, please show me. Like, I don't know what to do. Like, what's going on? And there is this song, and I can't remember the artist in this moment, but the song is called Consider the Stars. And the song was like, Consider the stars in the sky. And then the lyrics are, do not be afraid. He who made all of this knows you're worth more than this and holds you in his hands. And I still get chills when I think about it.
Why
I know
am I like gonna cry over
I
you just
know.
singing that? Is that weird?
No, it's not weird. It's very emotional. It like gives full body chills every time I listen to it. And the concept of star, right? Like I need to be a Broadway star. It was like I had certain pieces, but it wasn't all the way right because I wasn't open to receiving the actual information. So that sort of calmed me down in that moment enough to be like, okay, that's all I got. That's the message. Okay, so I went in, literally cried. I was so insane during the audition, again, trying to hold back tears. The casting director is on the edge of their seat. They're like, this woman is on the edge of a mental breakdown. I'm sure it was very entertaining, not at all appropriate for Allie in The Notebook, but it was fine. Didn't get a call back, obviously, because everything shut down. But the reason I mentioned the stars and he who made all of this knows you're worth more than this. Later, I went, many years later, my friend operates these artist retreats called that in hedonism, right, is about enjoying life and it has many connotations of being a negative thing. But this retreat is more about embracing our creative child, embracing just allowing and being in the moment and not having to do a whole lot more. It's actually like a very healing thing. I had no idea what I was expecting. And this is the other thing where if it's in alignment, I am one magical bitch because I finally
Facts.
surrendered. Facts. I was in the jungle on the floor, meditating in this breath work of what something was happening. Okay. Laying on the floor. And all of a sudden, like literally, that's so Raven style. I kid you the fuck not. It was like, gong. And like all of a sudden, I look insane, but it was like, it all made sense It was like, the reason you're obsessed with star is that you're the North Star. You're not like a flashy vaudeville star. You're a leader. That you are showing the direction. Star, consider the star, look at the star, North Star. They follow. And I know this kind of might make me look like high and mighty and nuts, but that in that moment finally helped me release into the idea that, okay, like maybe I don't have to be the lead on Broadway. Maybe it's in the attitude of, I get to embody what you're talking about, a more healed, embodied, authentic person who is creating opportunities and ways for artists to heal themselves, because I'm showing that there's another way. And so, anyway, I don't know if I answered any of your questions or if I just talked in ADD style.
Wait. This is such a perfect example of what it's like behind the scenes, even of coaching a multi-passionate crazy. And then you guys always do the same thing. Like, that probably didn't make sense. I'm all over the place. And it makes sense to me because while I'm grounded, I'm unwell enough to track you. So anyone
Great.
who's listening, I would put money on it. I totally track you. And for me is, and you can have both.
Right.
And you can be a leader in terms of being someone who teaches people vocals and also shows people through example of how there's so many ways you can use your creative gifts and command, not demand, but command abundance and money for it.
Right.
And that is of your mission here. And that's a much needed mission for creatives. And my prediction is, which I'm documenting this on the show to come back to, because as a Virgo, I love being right. There's nothing that makes me happier when someone goes, "Oh my God, Tiff, you were right." I'm like,
You're like,
I know.
Virgo.
Exactly. You can have both. And perhaps you are being used as an example from God and from the universe to show people the possibility that when you do follow that North Star, that is the way to the stage.
Right.
You get both. It's zigzag, but we all do it. We all want to have the direct hit. Like an example from my side of things, which is, I mean, having a podcast is creative. Now, a lot of people don't see it as that because they're like, you're just talking, but no, it's storytelling. It's engaging. There's an art to doing it. So like that's performing. And I had this belief that, okay, like no one knows who the fuck I am. I didn't even have like social media when I started my show, which is like the opposite of how most people do it. Or they have some like built up YouTube channel or something somewhere else. And I made up my mind that if I didn't have the show didn't get to a certain level, right, of downloads of whatever by a certain time, like you're saying with performers, I don't get this part or I don't get this many auditions, yet land this many in a year, this many auditions in a year, then it's not going to happen for me. Then I'm a piece of shit. Then it's never going to happen. And we create this like if then, we're making this shit up. And so I was like, I'll give myself a year because I know that that's, it's what I teach you guys. Like, don't be half-assing it. So I full-assed it. And I was like, okay, it's not like, I mean, it was I'm a grower, not a shower. Okay. Like it was like slow growth. My ego did not like it. But you want to know what? My show and is still top in the most random countries. Like, and I know you guys are listening now in countries where English is not your first language. There is no other US based show that talks about manifestation, money mindset, making money, online business stuff that has that.
Yeah.
Right. But I thought of that. I never knew that was even a possibility because why would my show be popular in countries where English is not their first language? Because I fucking make up words. So like, why would that happen?
Well, it's probably the emotion and the storytelling that you're putting in, which kind of brings back to the art that you're describing, that really what art is a reflection of the human experience. And the more transparent and authentic you are, that in itself is a piece of art. Right. So, I mean, this was going to get like that Portlandia episode where they like go into a like museum. They're like art a niche if no one understands.
That was very, I have no idea. I have no idea what you're talking about.
Or Portlandia
once again, everybody, the The mind of a creative.
The creative. But but I there's like a couple things I want to comment on what you just said. You embodying the storytelling and the transparency and stepping into your humanity, I think is what draws people to the show. And I also want to talk about the deadline aspect because listen, if you want to give yourself a deadline, I think I did need to give my ego a deadline. I think that's what it is. Hey, I'm going to give myself 2 years to book this lead on runway. If my ego is the one in the seat doing it, okay, I'll give her 2 years. But then afterwards, we're going to have to maybe, that doesn't mean that the dream has to die. That's my, like you're saying, like you can have both, but it just means we might have to do it a different way. It just means that you might have to surrender and grieve the way that you thought it was going to be. Because, honey boo boo, more you try to decide, you play God and decide how it's going to turn out, the less easy it's going to be and the less
Amen.
delightful, the
Amen to
less.
that.
And then that's the thing that's actually the creatives back in the driver's seat. Hey, y'all play pretend and be wild as fuck more than anyone else. What if you started to look at that as actually your superpower? You get to dream into existence in such delight. You need to do that to like your fucking life depends on it. That you are the people that are actually the most gifted at dreaming your life into existence because of your imagination and your ability to create things out of nothing. So instead of attaching stories of my creative skill isn't worth or I can't get paid to do that, that's actually fucking nonsense because it's actually your magic. And it's the thing, if you just let it be and you create for the sake of creating, because really there's this book called The Artist's Way, Tiffany.
Oh,
So any
I
artists,
love that book.
it's surrender. It's an amazing book. If you've never read it, it's by Julia Cameron. It's like a 12-step recovery process for creatives. And basically what it instills in this book is literally the divinity of your creativity. And I think as long as artists can start to soften their money story in a way that it's no different than the creative channeling that you're capable of doing, and you can soften around the good or bad, right? You listen to Tiffany all the time and you allow it to relax, right? Sometimes some artists are, they're such good people at heart. However, this is going to sound harsh and I'll probably offend some people. And if that's you, I just want you to check up on it. Just if we're triggered, let's just acknowledge it. But this of my art makes me a good person and down with the rich, eat the rich. This is bad. I'm an artist.
Or
This
you're a
this
sellout if
you're
you
tell
if
yes.
you do that. That's a big term I hear in LA all the time. Oh, so and so sold out. They're not, they went into like the pop music scene. It's like, what?
What? Like like as it's ridiculous because it makes people it's that attitude of I can be poor and happy. Honey, if you can't get your needs met and you can't pay your fucking rent, you're going to need to figure that out. And you're actually so much more capable than you're giving yourself credit for to harness that creative wild brain of yours to find ways to make money that you can have both, like what you're saying. It's
Why
insane.
do you think in the world of a lot of creatives in the world of the arts and truly I see this in other areas too, but specific for what we're talking about in this episode. And the fact that you help hundreds and thousands of singers,
Mhm.
really craft that voice and you help them with truly the most important part was all the mind stuff and the
Yeah.
embodiment of it. Why is there such a resistance to invest
Mm.
in working on yourself in order to get what you're saying you want? And then all of a sudden, this block comes up of like, well, I don't have the money to pay for that. Or I don't like, that's too much right now. Da, da, da. And it's like, why is that so quick to come up?
Yeah. Well, people don't trust it's going to work. First of all, and this will kind of hopefully lead into a little bit of me offering a solution for that. But I understand and I get it because this was me. for 10 years while I was trying to go through the door that was very locked. But I think there's a hesitancy to believe, especially with singing, that there is actually a solution and a routine that you can actually get better. Singing in particular, there's a lot of free information, but there's also a lot of garbage information. Just like with money and just like with business, it's like that's cool, but the reason you don't understand why you're not getting better and your sound still sounds the same is actually because no one is teaching you to understand your voice enough. You're not able to recognize what your particular instrument and habits need. Instead, you just go online and you just like follow a generic vocal track and expect that to do anything. And that's just not how it works. So people are hesitant to invest, A, because they don't know that. B, because they've just kind of like doggy paddling around trying to figure it out. They're not sure why things aren't going through. Like there's a large lack mentality over I need to have this gig first and then I can invest in my, just like you said, like I need to make money first before I pay you, Tiffany. And it's like, no. And guys, by the way, like I am one of Tiffany's clients and I have invested with her and it at least doubles every time. So, by the way, okay, that's a
I
shameless plug.
I appreciate this plug. I support this plug. Thank you.
This is a Tiffany approved plug, but it's true. Anytime that you authentically, truly, it's a whole body yes, invest in the thing that you know you need help on, it's gonna have return. And if you invest in something like vocal training, you know that your voice is not cutting it. You get music for your gig, for your auditions, and you know every single time that is not fucking cutting it, and you feel bad about it, submitting it, and you're embarrassed. Why the fuck do you keep putting yourself in that position? Why aren't you arming yourself with routine and actual implemented strengthening? The other thing to answer your question, Tiffany, is a lot of it is expensive as fuck. Everybody's like, oh, I will to train privately with a top coach so I get results. And yes, you need a coach that knows what the fuck they're doing because a lot of them don't. Or they're singers that haven't actually trained their own voice. The top coaches that are trained are upwards of $200 an hour in New York, which for artists is a lot. And so that's why I created things. There's actually a sale going on right now that is the same information you would get from a top coach, but you are learning how to identify which workout your voice needs so that you are actually getting more customized information that actually starts to accelerate the growth of your voice.
If you end up scrolling and wondering how this person or that person in your industry is able to sell at such a volume and have people entering their programs and buying their stuff, their physical products, their digital products, and you want to be able to do it, or you've tried it and it kind of works, it sometimes works, or it's not working at all, and you wonder, am I missing something? You are missing something. You're missing some key puzzle pieces, and they're holes in your business that are going to continue to drain your profits and drain your entire brain capacity with frustration unless you learn income generating skills in order to scale your business. And that is exactly what I am teaching you inside Selling at Scale. You are not getting more information just to leave you more bogged down with notebooks filled of stuff. We are implementing true proven strategy that I've used to generate over $260 million in sales and help my clients make millions and millions of dollars in over 87 different industries. You have less than 24 hours left to get in for the pre-launch sale. All the details, the reviews, all the stuff is right there on the special page at projectmewithtiffany.com/pre-launch sale. I did it in Virgo style, so all your questions are answered on there. Get in there, make a move that is going to make you life-changing money. Or you can continue to do stuff from your ass, and then you get from your ass cash. And that is not the life you're after. All right. You know what to do. Get in here. I can't wait to coach you live. See you soon. So let me ask you this, though. Yeah. Let me ask you the insanity. This is a moderate tiff rant. If someone is saying and listening to you as an example, all right, yes, I need that. I need the customized workout in order for me to get the auditions and land the parts and for me to feel like good about going into it, and they want the thing, then why isn't it a fucking no-brainer to invest? and this goes for any specialty, but I want to have this conversation. Like,
Mm.
why isn't it a no brainer? It's a no brainer for you to work with me. So, why isn't it a no brainer for them to work with you? I mean, obviously, it is for a good amount of people, but I
Yeah.
mean, it doesn't add up to me because I was someone who always found a way. I
Hmm.
was like, listen, I know I need this and I'm going to find a way to get help with this.
I think it's like the stories, and it's their of it all. It really lack is so strong that it really comes down to it. The story is I'm so broke. And what happens is people it's like I either pay my rent or I do this. That's really what the story does come down to, and it's kind of this survival thing. Meanwhile, and this is the dissonant part of it, guys, y'all are still going out and spending to go out in New York. Y'all are still buying a $7 latte.
And
And
getting the
not to
lashes done. Thank you.
yeah, and not and your nails, and I'm not going to shame you for that. You want to do things that light you up, but if you're in such discomfort over something you know is not working, right? You're not stupid. You can listen back to your tapes, and you know there's a part of you. There's a part of you deep down that's going, "This isn't really cutting it." Oh God. Oh, and then the worst voice is, "What if I did get the job? I think I would probably blow out." Right? There's this idea of, I don't know if I have my own back to actually do the gig. And again, that energy is going to push away the thing from coming in to begin with.
Like, I
Okay,
don't know
so
if I'm going to be able to pull it off
handle it.
once I get it.
Yeah,
And I might, I mean, especially in that profession, it might be like a public embarrassment.
correct. Or I'll get fired. Or what if I, that was my story with Wicked specifically. It's always been a secret dream of mine to be Elphaba. And although I couldn't, for the life of me, while the story was still running in my head, I don't know if this is possible for me. I don't know if I can do it. I'll just push. Wait, this isn't right. I can't find anyone that can help me. Those are all stories that are subconsciously running. There was also the voice of, well, even if I did get it, maybe I'll get nodules and I'll ruin my voice and I'll ruin it for myself forever. Right. So these are all the, I guess, what's as talented and creative and brilliant as people are, their creativity for fucking themselves over is also just as strong.
Wow, that is a mic drop. At
Sorry.
because that no, that's amazing. Well, sorry, don't be fucking sorry. That was that was good because the more creative that mind is, that is a blessing and a curse
Yeah.
because that creative actually work with your ego to mind fuck the shit out of you.
Right. Well, and then their ego is the thing that just wants, right? Want this gig to happen. It's like this dance between like going, I know that I could do the work and I can pound the pavement and I can do it, with, well, maybe I should just be worthy of it anyway right now. Right. And so like there's just like 10 times more voices going on. I think
Yeah.
is the idea.
Yeah, and I think that's I work with and so many of my students and clients are creatives because I can understand the level of overthinking, overanalyzing, unwellness of the mind because my mind works the same way. Like I feel very validated and seen by you when you just said that line.
Yeah.
It makes so much sense. It's so creative and it's like a corn maze and there's so many layers to it and it's mind blowing.
Yeah.
Like the very thing you want and the very thing that you're doing all the stuff for, but then there's a part of you that's fighting against it saying, "Oh, but this could be risky. I might blow it or people might abandon me or I might get canceled or maybe what if I get a gig again after this and this I'm a one-hit wonder."
Right. Like all of these, and by the way, Tiffany, pretty much every, especially actor, singer, dancer, has all of these thoughts. I think it's less isolating than you would think. Like pretty much any creative brain, unless you're a narcissist, which is why they excel because they don't have those kinds of thoughts. They
Wait, are
don't.
you saying that I'm not saying we're not saying everyone, but are you
Not
saying it
everyone.
is common in your field that a lot of the, let's just say the big roles, they're narcissistic tendencies?
They're either narcissistic tendencies and they're fucking assholes. The role only good people succeed. That's not true. There are narcissistic people that are very self-involved that do very well because they're basically primed for that environment to focus and think on themselves all the time, and they're okay with being perceived because it's all about them anyway. There are people like that. And the other type of person that exists, because these also exist, are just the most healing, angel baby radiant motherfuckers you've ever seen. So it's like it's either like,
And anyone who's listening, I have a lot of Hollywood people that listen. It is
okay,
so true in the TV and film world
yeah,
too. Like Matthew McConaughey, for example,
oh yeah,
on Angel Baby. I can vouch for
angel.
this.
Angel
Angel.
baby. There's angel babies and then there's absolute assholes. Okay. So there's no, but the in-betweeners, you need to pick one. Okay. And that's where a lot of the creatives, they actually have potential to be angel babies. They are angel babies, but they haven't healed and accepted these aspects of themselves. They haven't learned to quiet the noises, address the fear, heal the story of the lack from the inside out, and then turn up the fucking volume on how creative and brilliant and radiant and effervescent they are when they are locked in to the thing that makes them glow. And my goal, especially as my business grows, right? That's why I'm so glad not, I love my singers, okay? But I feel like my mission as the North Star, I'm trying to embody my own North Star here, is to help artists beyond even the singers, because it is that internal work. It's two parts: the internal work, the stories you have in your fucking head, get that under control, right? And you get it under control by learning to love and see yourself and accept yourself. Accept the craziness. Be with it. Grieve it. Love it. Don't push her down anymore, okay? The crazy, creative, anxious girl. Yeah, we need to see her so that she doesn't keep clawing over your face and getting into the driver's seat, okay? We need to learn to put her in her playpen so she has her, and she goes in the trunk on a road trip, okay? We can't have her driving, right? So that needs to happen. So that's step one, the internal world, the internal stories. Step two is the get to work on the function, right? That's a main part of my business right now, is getting singers to shut the fucking noise up, get the fuck to work. Surrender to the process of developing your artistry just as much as you're letting Jesus take the wheel over how it goes, right? That surrender needs to happen in the functionality, the training of the craft, right? Matthew McConaughey's actual practice of the craft, that needs to happen. And when the girl anxious in the seat trying to run the show, she sabotages that too, right? So that's why the internal work is important. And then I guess if there was a step three, this feeling so safe inside yourself that when it's fucking go time, because you've done step one and step two, your mind is, your nervous system's on board, you are radically present and magnetic, and your skill is fire. That's when you're a fucking star.
Because
And that's
that's
when no one,
when like preparation
yep,
and manifestation
yep,
meet. Right? When they
correct.
say like luck is really, I don't know, I don't remember the exact line, but it's like something like luck is about like half of it's about preparation. Right?
Yeah,
It's because
preparation
you're
meets opportunity.
yeah, like
Mhm.
actively manifesting it. And because you're also doing the thing, you're setting yourself up for you to get what it is that you want. And you have something for them that you're
Yeah.
giving generously for free to help them with the mind. Yes.
Yes, for the mind. Yes, we have the Abundant Artist audio series, which is actually so inspired by, if you love if things, Tiffany and I actually came up with this for me a few months ago while we were coaching. But it's very much in the vein of how radiant and abundant you're going to feel after her tracks, but it is so artist focused. And right now it's going to expand a little bit as we're making something even bigger behind the scenes. I'm not going to talk about it here. All you need to do is get into the free thing that I'm offering. But there's four things that are free for you. There's acceptance and surrender, which helps you with controlling the outcome, that will we, oh, it has to work out this way, right? It helps you relax and feel like you can show up and do your job and not be so attached to that. The second one's creative activation. So that just helps with what you're saying. How can I activate my creativity? How can I feel play again? How can I lean into this to show me how to make money in this way? The third one's safety. So this actually helps with visibility, right? Can I feel safe getting the big opportunity? Can I feel safe to show up online and make a video? Can I feel safe when I go viral, or am I going to shut the fuck down? Am I going to feel safe in the room to make bold choices and be a fucking star when the time comes, right? And then the fourth one, and this is I have who are on Broadway that use this, who've been in Hamilton and Wicked. This is their favorite. They fucking love it. And it's performer glow. Performer. They use it before auditions, they use it before performances. It's basically artist abundance zone. It's so it's so awesome. And you guys can get it completely free. We're gonna link it. I
Yeah,
think
and on Apple, Spotify, it's in the show notes, and then we're going to have it in the description here on YouTube at ProjectME TV. And I know people would kill me if I didn't ask this because I know it's a genuine curiosity of people who aren't even in the performance world. But how do you handle the rejection
yeah,
that comes with being a creative? Because it is so vulnerable to put
yeah,
yourself out there. And I know people can relate to it, even just putting out videos on social media or
yeah,
launching an offer. I mean, that's very fucking vulnerable. I'm in it right now. And even
right.
though I teach it and I know what the fuck I'm doing,
Yeah,
it is still vulnerable when you give a shit and it's you're pouring your an energy and you've invested money and time into it, which is what you do inside of auditions.
yeah,
When you are rejected, and let's say you're rejected, you're getting these auditions and you've gotten no after no after no, you resurrect yourself so that you're not beaten down and kind of start losing hope,
yeah.
because then you're going to just sabotage your next audition.
Yeah. So there's basically, first of all, this is the most common question people have. It's like, how do you handle the rejection? Well, you kind of systemize. You get used to it. That's actually the not as bad as you would think compared to other things. The lack of safety and the when it's is worse because
Meaning when
it's
there's no
when it's
auditions, even.
crickets. Yeah,
Okay.
because then it feels like there's no life vest to hold on to. It just feels like you're floating
Like
into the
no
abyss.
interest
No,
happening.
right. Like I failed. Like that's kind of the undercurrent of that. So that's worse. But the rejection piece, so, there's again, the mind work is where this comes in the most, right? So there's the grieving of it. You got to accept that it didn't work out in that way. And you got to see that part of yourself that really wanted it and grieve it and love it, right? And then the second one is the surrender aspect and the peering into the future again. So redirecting, okay, it wasn't this. Thank you. Show me what the thing is then. Like this, that must mean it's even better, right? So it's this like radical optimism and faith in yourself and your skill. And the other thing is get the fuck to work, right? Reattach to the skill. Like get back into building your tools, right? So your voice, if that's the thing it is. Learning to mix belt, even better. Learning, or it's get back, reignite the creativity by immediately making yourself do something creative, right? Stephen Sondheim, I think, has a quote. I'm going to misquote him, but he talks about like the minute the one show opens, he's already working on the next show. He's since passed, but that was something that he would talk about of the your actual job as an artist is to just continue to be creative. You don't get to decide what happens from each creation. That's the surrender part, right? You need to humbly understand, and this is for your own sanity. And to answer Tiffany's question, there is a humility to becoming an artist and a creator, right? It's not up to you to play God. It's up to you to create. So when you go, okay, well, thank you so much for that opportunity. You have no idea, even if you didn't get the job and you got quote unquote rejected, you don't know what's going on behind the
They
table.
could be considering you for something even more insane.
Exactly. Like that's happened to me. Like I haven't gotten auditions for TV shows in particular, but then they just bring me in for something else. Like they keep, if you auditions, that's actually getting the call back because they are recognizing they want to find a place for you, right? There are actually people that love artists on the other end, especially at casting. If you hate casting, you really need to look at that because most casting directors are really lovely people that are like really obsessed with actors and singers. There are people advocating for you. You have no idea. And so, again, by you playing God and cracking down down on your own ability to have opportunity come in by being like, casting hates me, nothing ever happens for me, I'm just going to sit in my poopy diaper for longer than necessary, then you're fucking yourself. Like I said, those creative voices that are just as strong for creating good things can create bad things. So you really, reframing is really an important piece.
I mean, this is no different. And obviously, you are an entrepreneur in this field. It's no different than when you launch an offer, right? Which you're in the middle of your Renaissance sale right now. When you
Yeah.
go to like launch an offer, correct me if I'm wrong, it is vulnerable. It's exciting. There's anxiety. It's scary. There's the what if no one buys? And then we can start attaching how good our thing is based on how many people sign up based on a time frame. And
Yeah.
you get too attached into that, I promise you, you will repel people.
Yep. Well, and actually, it's interesting. This is good that we're segueing into this because, first of all, being an entrepreneur is, I'm going to say it, is easier than being an auditioning artist. I have to say it. I
Wow.
have to say it. I'm sorry. I've done both. This is my experience.
I
And so
mean,
with
wow, I'm actually happy to know there's something harder.
no, this is harder. Well, let me be frank. Auditioning from a surrendered place and being in the flow and creative, that is a lovely, divine, free, lovely place to be. When you are in that abundance of being a creative, right? And you have been working on your internal story and you're in that flow, that is a lovely feeling. Okay. It's when you're fighting and you're pounding and you're going against the intuition that maybe it needs to look a different way, there is no worse feeling. And I don't think that's in any field. It's just like being out of alignment. There is nothing that feels worse. So if you're listening to this and you're scared of jumping on the entrepreneurial trail, even though you know that it's for you, you're worse off where you are. Hate to
Yeah, you're in
say it.
purgatory. You're
Yes,
wanting
that is
something and doing nothing about it.
that's worse. It's so much
I
worse.
agree. That is
So,
worse.
it is worse. So being an entrepreneur, right? I because I life I recognize that, like, hey, because people are not willing to jump on opportunities for themselves or they're pigeonholed into, like, well, if I want to make progress on my voice, I have to pay $200 an hour and I can't, afford that. And then these stories pile up. And again, they just live in this umbrella of lack and it's just the follows them. The good thing about how I pivoted into using my creativity, using my journey to start to make money and to serve people, which is the best part. Um, is I'm created a sale. I know it's so random, which is also what makes it delightful. By the way, creativity in
I don't
the
think random at all. Exactly. We use in the marketing.
yeah, because I was like, I had come to you, and that's true. Like, you can get into ruts, and I've gotten pretty good at content creation, and I learned to sell, and I've done all stuff. I've done selling with soul, which is incredible, by the way. So I'm sure selling with scale is going to be insane. But oh, have you talked about that? Can I say that?
Yeah, it's pre-launch
Okay,
sale. It's open to the
okay,
public.
okay, good, good, good. Like, oh no, did I? Oh no, did I not say? Okay, but. You get into ruts just like you can get into like writer's block. It's kind of similar of like, oh God, I thought I had to be right. And by the way, artist block and ruts with selling, those are just rites of passage. And like you said, how do you deal with rejection? You just learn your process and how to get through it. And most of it is just moving through something that's uncomfortable. With writer's block in particular, it's just sitting down in the poopy diaper and writing anyway. That's the discipline of it. So anyway, that's why the Renaissance sale is like absolutely batshit insane because Tiffany basically was like, listen, like you need to sell this, like just you're going to Italy, like make it about this. And I was like, okay. And the way it me up and the feedback I've been getting, Tiffany, from the marketing is insane. People are like, you're fucking crazy. I'm obsessed with you.
And
I'm
that
like,
would
yeah,
make me want to work with you
yeah.
because we only really want to work with people or activated to work with people that like seem, like fun and dynamic and
Yeah.
interesting and have a unique approach. You can go direct to the page
Yeah.
and look at it. And if you're someone who's like, I don't, that's not like what I'm looking for personally, you need to look at it as an example of the shit we created and that it worked at the very least.
Yeah.
So you can see what we're talking about and the creativity infused and the passion infused and the language. By the way, I'm a very proud coach right now. I was like, bitch,
Selling. You
I
taught me
was like, I'm like, okay, I'm a proud coach moment over here. I was like, yeah, I'm like, boldly, zero fucks given, done so well. And it's like, and I know you feel that about your students when you see them shining, and it's like,
Yeah.
this is what happens when you fully show up for yourself. That's when you get the fucking results.
Right.
Period. All right.
You
Thank you so much for coming on and sharing all of your crazy with us and really giving people a look of the inside of the creative mind, because I know so many people can relate, and you guys can swipe up and get her free resource, because if you relate to like how her brain operates or mine, it'll be something that can greatly help you. And then I have her socials and everything that are all linked down inside the show notes on Apple, on Spotify, and then in the description on YouTube at Project Me TV. Thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you so much.
Can we get a like farewell, zero fucks given, please?
Zero fucks given.
Oh, look at that little twist. That gave me a zing. Love you.